Hello and welcome to Cornish Walking Trails. Today we're here at Zennor.
Oh, run!
Yeah! From here at Zennor we will do a 5.5 mile circular walk, starting by crossing fields and going out to the coast. We wanted to find out if there was a bit more to Zennor than just the mermaid story. The church unfortunately today is closed, we can't go and see the pew. So what else could bring you to Zennor? There's plenty, believe me. Our walk today is taken from the AA Pocketbook of Britain's Walks. It's walk number 7, Zennor and the Spectacular Coast Path. Zennor is on the north coast of Cornwall in the Penwith area.
We've parked here. This is the main car park here in the village. It's £1, which is fantastic. It's the best value car park in Cornwall, Sarah.
It's not bad, is it?
Brilliant. Well worth it.
So our first walk instruction is turn left out of the car park and head up the hill. Immediately after the church, turn right by some railings and take the footpath over the fields, crossing several stiles to Mermaid Farm. So let's go. So this little church is very famous for the Mermaid of Zennor story, with Matthew Trewellard's beautiful singing voice attracting the mermaid, which we've done in another video, so I'll put the link of that at the end. But this is also very interesting, this plaque over here. So this plaque is in honour of John Davy, and it tells us here that he's of Byswednik of this parish in St Just, and he was the last to possess any considerable traditional knowledge of the Cornish language. I love the way that's put. So he's the last Cornish speaker in this area. It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you raided your library, Andrew? What you got?
I've found one of the Bob Acton books, Walks Around Land's End.
Brilliant!
And although the walk we're doing today isn't from this book, and it is a slightly different walk, it does talk about Zennor and the churchyard here. And there is actually a gravestone here, which I want to show you, but we've got to try and find it. Find it first and I'll tell you about it.
So we're on a mystery grave treasure hunt, are we?
Yeah, so we're looking for a gravestone, and it should have the name of Matthew Hollow on it.
Okay. Off we go then.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's quite a big graveyard. Any kind of clues?
Yeah, it just says it's in the graveyard. Outside, it says.
Oh dear. So there's Berryman, Eddie, Prowse, Osborne. Oh, another good old Cornish name, Pascoe. A Gelbert over there. And a Nan Curvis. These surnames seem so traditionally Cornish, but no hollows. You can guarantee that even when the church is shut, we'll find something interesting to show you. Even if it is us wandering around like twits trying to find one grave. So here's one, John Hollow. I found a grave with Hollow written on it.
You want to find a hollow grave, do you?
Oh
No, we're looking for Matthew Hollow.
Oh, that's a John. Can't seem to see it. So if you were coming out of a church, you wouldn't wander too far, would you? It must be closer to the door. It's right at the entrance.
Right at the entrance.
We're a couple of numpties, aren't we?
Look. So, Matthew Hollow, who died 1911, aged 95.
Oh, yes.
Right? Also of Elizabeth Bottrell, wife of the above, who died 1919.
In her 100th year, so she was 99.
And also of Elizabeth Uren, daughter of the above, who died 1943 in her 105th year.
So he's just basically making the point they were really long lived, aren't they?
At an era, really, when people died younger, didn't they?
Oh, I see. Is it actually
That's
just
the original, and
a
then
new
they've put a new marking on it, I think.
Just that you can read it better. Oh, how incredible! There's another hollow over there.
I'll avoid that.
Matthew Hollow died in 1929, aged 88. My goodness me, they've got good genes, haven't they?
It's impressive.
Anyway, let's get out the church and get on with our walk.
You've seen these, Sarah, as well. This is an unusual looking grave, this one. It's the Admiral John Borlase, it says. And you see these two big, sort of, they're actually crosses.
Yeah.
Do you know what these were for?
No, they look like Celtic crosses, don't they?
Well, they're actually way markers.
Oh, right.
And apparently the path which we're now going to go on was the old path to the church. It had particularly wide and low stiles for carrying coffins. And it was marked along the way with these way markers.
I suppose that fits with the traditional use of a way marker, doesn't it?
Yeah.
To mark a saint's path.
Yeah,
or...
what I don't understand is why two of them have ended up on this grave.
Oh, yeah. Good thought. Yeah.
So this is an ancient form of sat-nav.
Do you have another interesting fact for us?
Oh, I do. We've brought a variety of books with us today, but this book is very good. This one here is 9 Walks Around St Just and St Ives. And it tells me in here, it says, by 1841 the population of Zennor parish was 1,025, mostly thanks to the tin mining boom. On Friday nights in the Tinners' Arms, the rafters would have been roaring with miners having a payday drink. On Sundays, miners would have swelled the congregation of the Wesleyan Chapel, built in 1799. By 1901, the population had shrunk to only 332.
Amazing!
So they'd either all drunk themselves to death,
Or found another mine.
yeah, or found another mine.
Another hole in the ground. Found a Cornishman at the bottom.
Probably abroad.
Yeah, probably. So you might have noticed some changes on YouTube. At the moment they're going ad crazy. We haven't got a lot of say in it. They're automatically placing a lot of adverts on our videos, and we have to manually go into each video and remove them, and it's all very long-winded, and I just simply don't have the time, so I really apologise if the adverts are getting in your way. If you wanted to watch without adverts, we've put them onto Patreon, so if you came over and joined us on Patreon, you can watch them ad-free, and we have a low-level tier of $2 a month, so with 4 videos a month, if not 5, it's about 50p. Well, it isn't even that actually, because it's in dollars, so perhaps you might consider joining us on Patreon to avoid the adverts.
So I'm not actually hiding from Sarah. It's quite hard to actually find this path. It's hidden to the left. Let's see if she can find it.
Why are you hiding?
Have you found me?
I found you.
Ah, I thought I was going to play hide and seek with you. This path's a bit hidden, isn't it?
Boo.
Boo to you too. It's in the sea over there.
I know.
It's looking lovely today, isn't it? So we come back along the coast, Sam.
Yeah, so warm. So warm today. It's late September, so you've got this absolute stunning orange glow from the bracken, and it's met with the beautiful cobalt blue of the sea. Such complementary colours like that often work quite well, and today for me they are singing.
I was going to tell us lots of more cow related puns, but I think they've heard them all before.
So have I. Backing off. I wonder if one of these herds actually supplies the milk for the ice cream, the Mermaid of Zennor.
Oh,
I know.
good ice cream.
It's so warm I could eat one now, couldn't you?
Definitely have to do that before we leave. Boo!
Are you going to do this whole walk?
Would I?
Oh, very good. I'm not impressed.
The great big slabs of granite here, aren't they? Well, I wondered whether they might have even been like a coffin rest. I mean, if they were using this pathway to get down to the church.
It's about the right length
Rest,
and width,
yeah.
isn't it? Oh my goodness me.
I don't know, it might be completely wrong, but...
Another interesting thing about this area, D.H. Lawrence. Have you heard of Lady Chatterley's lover? The author, D.H. Lawrence, he actually lived down here for a while during the First World War. And we're on the lookout for his house. He stayed here with his wife. And although he loved the area, I think there's some accounts of him rubbing the locals up the wrong way, and it didn't really help that at that time his wife was actually German, so it must have been a bit tricky for them.
Property over there, Sarah, the far side of the field. That's the one that D.H. Lawrence lived in 1916.
Oh, I see.
So him and his wife was German, I think she was called Frieda. Now she was a cousin to Baron von Richthofen, who was the Red Baron. Anti-German feeling was bound to be high. U-boats were prowling the coast. Gossip flowed. Believing that a camera was hidden in a loaf, police searched Frieda's basket on her way back from St Ives. Men were eavesdropping under the cottage windows. A blackout curtain flapped in the draught was interpreted as a signal to U-boats. On the 11th of October 1917, the Lawrence's cottage was ransacked by the authorities whilst they were out. The next day, an army major, St Ives policeman and 2 detectives visited the couple and ordered them to leave. Within 3 days, Lawrence never set foot in Cornwall again. Come with me, something I want to show you. Look at this.
Oh, tumbly down.
Old little cottage. Come on in though, come on have a look.
So
How low that
low.
is. Come in, I want to show you the fireplace.
Oh, wow. Oh, that would have had a substantial Cornish range in it at one point, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Such huge chunks of granite. Oh. Little roof on it. Just imagine it, can't you? I bet that was left open for the scullery, keep the food cold as well. Probably just been 2 rooms, don't you think?
Oh, look, it was obviously like whitewashed on the inside as well.
Yeah.
Maybe like an early form of plaster, maybe?
Lime wash.
Yeah.
Lumps of granite strewn in just tiny fields. But the path is incredibly easy to follow. I think we've put the book away. And yeah, you can just make out, like Andrew's just pointed out to me, there is another house.
I don't know if that's a barn or whether it would have been a little cottage.
Wow.
It's a cottage, isn't it?
So we've done a bit of detective, or Andrew has. He figured it out. What is this?
This was built in 1840. It was the old Bible Christian chapel.
Right, and the story goes...
that the Bible group used to meet at a farm which we haven't got to yet, which was called Wicker Farm,
Yes.
above their old stables, and the congregation swelled so much that they actually, because they met above the stables in the floor above, the floor gave way and they all fell through.
Landed on the horses.
Landed on the horses, so they had to find a new chapel. Effectively, they built a new chapel, and now it's completely derelict.
Goodness me. So we could have just walked past that.
Could have done. So it's been derelict since 1900, and it was a congregation of 135 people.
Got shorts on. It's a mistake, isn't it? Oh look, this is the old entrance. Oh, this is fun. Brambles. I don't mind brambles too much. They just scratch. I don't like nettles because they itch. Well, would you believe it? I think I'm going to be in here. This was a chapel. Oh, incredible. Oh, you can see why it's got such tall windows now, can't you? Yeah. Completely derelict.
Wow, gosh. It's been quite an impressive building, wouldn't it?
I think it would have been cute rather than impressive.
To hold 135 in here as well, because it is quite a small space, isn't it?
Well, you wouldn't be allowed to do it today, would you? Look at this graffiti. Barrel. 1907. 1913. Win. Oh, wow. It's really old,
Sarah?
graffiti.
Can you have a look in my backpack for that chisel? Sarah and Andrew.
Just put CW2, it's a lot
2020.
easier. Oh my goodness, look. Somebody's painted that. Is that coming out on camera? There's 2 women.
Oh my gosh, that is
That's
amazing, isn't it?
spooky, I nearly missed that.
That's incredible.
Oh, they're on horses. No, they've got saddles with them. Oh, wow.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Beautiful. Now that's first class graffiti, isn't it? My goodness me, to bring a complete palette with you to paint something on a wall in a derelict chapel, that's commitment.
I thought it was a Banksy, but it's not.
What is it?
It's a chapel-y. That's amazing. I love things like that. So in this field that we're walking through, here is another one of those way markers, like the one we saw in the church earlier on. See, been so maybe restored because it's got cement around the base, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, that does look like a repair, doesn't it? But isn't that a lovely thing to put back in place?
So it begs the question, why were two of these then on that grave?
Yeah.
It's bizarre, isn't it?
Unless we've just answered that question because they fell over. So rather than having them back in the field, the farmer said, put them in the churchyard. It's
Well
right,
done,
boy,
yeah.
you don't want them in my field anymore. Cows keep falling over them.
Is that the way the farmer talks, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You imagine though, sort of maybe 150 years ago, you lived out here somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And this is your only route down to Zennor to go to the Tinners to have a pint. So you're walking home in the evening, you've had a few, right? You must be tripping over these things all the way. You'd be black and blue by the time you got home.
You
They'd
would,
think you'd
wouldn't
been in
you?
a fight outside the pub, wouldn't they?
Well, probably were.
And that's where, when people say you've been to the pub, you're stoned. That's where that comes from,
that
you
was
see.
going. Ah. So ahead of us lies Wicker Farm. Wicker meaning dairy farm in Anglo-Saxon. So that's from
Pre-Norman.
pre-1066. Wicker.
That's old then,
I've
isn't it?
often wondered what wicker meant. Obviously having something done up here on the left. Another holiday cottage maybe? Beautiful setting. And that's probably the stables where the floor collapsed, depositing worshipper on the horses. Yeah.
Stables, yeah.
That would have been the
Yeah.
stables. Take the stile between the farmhouse and the barn where they were doing up that beautiful holiday home, going straight through the farmyard and continuing along the road just after Buscubben Farm. Turn left down the track to Traverse, so yeah, we're on the right track. Favourite cottage of the walk, look at that one, idyllic. Yum.
Mm.
Did you check that for worms? It's late September.
No.
What are you going to do?
already ate some. Oh, worms.
So we're heading towards River Cove, aren't we?
Yeah. This stretch has been described as possibly the most strenuous walking in Cornwall, isn't it?
Don't say that, I need my lunch.
Well, the stretch of St Ives to Zennor is supposed to be pretty tough, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've only ever done little bits of it, haven't we?
I don't think I've ever done all of it. We've done a bit from St Ives and we've done a bit from Zennor. But yeah, this looks quite steep, doesn't it? So it's 3 miles from here, 2 valleys between here and Zennor, and apparently the book says steep descent and steep ascent too many times for me to worry about. I'm just going to walk the 3 miles back to Zennor and enjoy it with the company of this coastline. Look at it, and this gorgeous sun. We're so spoiled.
You found something?
Well, yes, we read this before we left home, and it seems an appropriate moment to read this out. It's a quote from a D.H. Lawrence letter to Catherine Mansfield, and he says, "At Zennor one sees infinite Atlantic, all peacock mingled colours, and gorse is sunshine itself. Zennor is most beautiful place, a tiny granite village nestling under high shaggy moor hills, and a big sweep of lovely sea beyond. Such a lovely sea, lovelier than the Mediterranean. It is the best place I have been in, I think." Well, that commends it really, doesn't it? And I think he's right, look at it.
Quite clearly haven't been to Campbell then, have they?
So we've had a little pit stop. Andrew said we've got to get going now. I don't want to leave, it's beautiful here.
So I've just told Sarah that the path's down that way, but the path's actually up here. So just want to get the reaction look a minute. Path's over here.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Down there.
Yeah. Jesus, how do I get down there?
See at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
You enjoy that?
No, not really. Ah! Ah! It's like an adult climbing frame.
It's fun, isn't it? It's like playing the game of trying to choose the right stone to sort of stand on, or...
Stone Kaplunk.
It is a bit, isn't it?
Stone Jenga. Which one's going to move? Yeah.
None of them are going to move, are they? But, yeah, it's
Slows you down, doesn't
awful,
it?
isn't it? You're not going to get like a pushchair through there, are
No,
you?
no, no. I think the dog would struggle.
Yeah, I agree.
After all that goat-like mountaineering, I've just looked up for the first time. Oh, it's beautiful. If you've heard the sections challenging, yes, there are boulders and it is a bit slow progress, but don't let it put you off. The views are absolutely stunning and you've got to do it just for that.
Just allow yourself that little bit of extra time.
Or break it down into manageable sections like we do.
So, okay, biggest dilemma of the day. Is it a pint in the Tinners or is it an ice cream at the Mermaid Cafe?
Ice cream for me.
Alright, you can get an ice cream, I'll get a pint.
Right.
I'll tell you what, I'll have an ice cream first. And a pint.
Brilliant. Oh, excellent.
Raspberry sorbet.
That looks good, doesn't it?
Shipwreck. How did I do that?
Today's walk is taken from the AA Pocketbook of Britain's Walks. So we have this book from some subscribers.
Thank you, Anthony and Linda.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's walk number 7, Zennor and the spectacular coast path. Traverse the Cornish coast front line, defiantly facing the mighty Atlantic Ocean. So, quick look at our map. We start here down at Zennor Church, track across the fields, and then go down a little lane to join up with the coast path, following it with these exquisite views all the way back to Zennor. So, 5.5 mile, pretty tough circular walk today.
Been on a workout.
Those boulders, my goodness me.
Bit of rock climbing.
It has the reputation of being the most difficult part of the Cornish coast path, but there was so much to see.
I know, it was quite sedate walking out, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was the barn, well, oh no, chapel, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
the derelict chapel with the graffiti.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was beautiful, mesmerising. I was bowled over by that.
Yeah, and stunning views once you actually get out onto the coastline. Whichever direction you look, it's glorious.
So, walk instructions worked, the map was fine.
Yeah.
The style of the book is not to give you any extra information, so it can't score that point. What would you score it?
I'm going to knock it down a little bit just because it doesn't fully explain the terrain that you're walking through. It is pretty extreme. I think
Yeah.
it's probably the toughest walking we've come
And it
across in
needs
Cornwall.
to be noted, yeah.
Yeah. So what would you give it?
I think I'd give it a 7 out of 10.
I was going to go with 8, so we'll call it a 7.5.
Sounds good to me. To help us grow our channel, please subscribe and consider supporting us on Patreon.